Question 1. The control framework reveals that a sales manager is pushing for immediate increases in lead generation from a new display campaign, emphasizing the need to reach as many potential customers as possible within the first week. The account manager is considering various targeting and bidding strategies, which approach best balances aggressive sales targets with effective and compliant display campaign execution. Option A. Implement broad demographic targeting across all available placements and utilize a manual CPC bidding strategy to maximize impressions. Option B. Utilize only topic targeting to ensure ads appear alongside relevant content, with a target ROAS bidding strategy and uploaded image ads. Option C. Employ contextual targeting based on keywords found on competitor websites and a target CPA bidding strategy with static banner ads. Option D. Focus on remarketing to past website visitors and leverage similar audiences, combined with a maximize conversions bidding strategy and responsive display ads. The correct answer is A. Implement broad demographic targeting across all available placements and utilize a manual CPC bidding strategy to maximize impressions. Explanation: this scenario is professionally challenging because it requires balancing aggressive sales targets with the ethical and regulatory obligations of advertising, specifically within the Google Ads framework. The sales manager's pressure to achieve immediate results can lead to overlooking crucial aspects of audience targeting and ad quality, potentially resulting in non-compliance and ineffective campaigns. Careful judgment is required to ensure that sales objectives are met through compliant and strategically sound methods. The correct approach involves a holistic understanding of display network targeting capabilities, focusing on building relevant audiences and utilizing appropriate ad formats and bidding strategies to maximize performance within defined parameters. This approach prioritizes data-driven decisions and adherence to Google Ads policies, which are designed to ensure a positive user experience and fair advertising practices. Specifically, leveraging a combination of remarketing to re-engage interested users and similar audiences to expand reach to comparable demographics, while also considering contextual and topic targeting for broader relevance, represents a robust strategy. Use of responsive display ads, which adapt to various ad slots, and a bidding strategy like target CPA or maximize conversions, aligned with business goals, further enhances effectiveness and efficiency. This aligns with the overarching goal of responsible advertising and maximizing return on investment through legitimate means. An incorrect approach would be to solely focus on broad demographic targeting without considering user intent or past behavior. This can lead to wasted ad spend and a poor user experience, potentially violating principles of relevance and user privacy, which are implicitly governed by advertising platform policies. Another incorrect approach is to neglect ad creative quality and brand safety considerations in favor of rapid deployment. This can result in ads appearing in inappropriate contexts, damaging brand reputation and potentially violating brand safety guidelines that advertisers are expected to adhere to. Furthermore, employing a bidding strategy that is not aligned with conversion goals, such as manual CPC without clear performance benchmarks, can lead to inefficient spending and failure to meet sales objectives, demonstrating a lack of strategic planning. Professionals should approach such situations by first understanding the client's or company's overarching business objectives, and then mapping those to the specific capabilities and constraints of the Google Ads platform. This involves a thorough review of audience targeting options, ad formats, and bidding strategies, always prioritizing compliance with platform policies and ethical advertising standards. A data-driven approach, utilizing tools like Display Planner for insights and continuously optimizing campaigns based on performance metrics, is crucial. When faced with pressure for immediate results, it's important to educate stakeholders on the long-term benefits of a well-structured and compliant campaign, rather than resorting to shortcuts that could jeopardize campaign success and brand integrity. Question 2. Quality control measures reveal that a new sales representative is recommending a display campaign with an awareness objective for an e-commerce client whose primary goal is to increase immediate online sales of specific products. The client has a well-established website and a catalog of products ready for purchase. What is the most appropriate and ethically sound approach for the sales representative to take in this situation? Option A. Propose an app campaign, as this is a modern approach to driving online engagement and sales. Option B. Proceed with the display campaign with an awareness objective, explaining that awareness is a necessary first step to sales. Option C. Recommend a shopping campaign with a conversion objective, ensuring accurate conversion tracking is set up to measure sales. Option D. Suggest a video campaign with a consideration objective, as this can build interest that eventually leads to purchases. The correct answer is C. Recommend a shopping campaign with a conversion objective, ensuring accurate conversion tracking is set up to measure sales. Explanation. Scenario analysis. This scenario is professionally challenging because it requires balancing aggressive sales targets with ethical advertising practices and adherence to Google Ads policies. Misinterpreting campaign objectives or misrepresenting performance can lead to wasted client budgets, damaged trust, and potential violations of advertising standards. The pressure to demonstrate immediate results can tempt sales representatives to overpromise or select inappropriate campaign types, necessitating a strong understanding of the platform's capabilities and limitations. Correct approach analysis. The correct approach involves a thorough understanding of the client's business goals and selecting a campaign type and objective that directly align with those goals, supported by accurate conversion tracking. For client focused on driving immediate sales of specific products, a shopping campaign with a clear conversion objective is the most direct and efficient method. This approach is ethically sound and aligns with Google Ads best practices by focusing on measurable outcomes that directly impact the client's bottom line. Accurate conversion tracking ensures that performance is measured correctly, allowing for effective optimization and demonstrating genuine ROI. Incorrect approach is analysis. Selecting a display campaign with an awareness objective for a client focused on immediate sales is ethically problematic and professionally unsound. While awareness can be a precursor to sales, it does not directly drive them. Misrepresenting this as a sales-driving strategy is misleading to the client and wastes their budget on metrics that don't align with their primary goal. This violates the principle of providing services that genuinely meet client needs. Choosing a video campaign with a consideration objective when the client's primary goal is immediate sales is also a misaligned and potentially deceptive approach. Consideration campaigns aim to build interest and engagement, not necessarily to close sales immediately. Presenting this as a direct sales solution is a misrepresentation of the campaign's capabilities and the client's objectives, leading to dissatisfaction and a breach of trust. Opting for an app campaign when the client's business is e-commerce and does not have a mobile application is fundamentally incorrect and demonstrates a severe lack of understanding of the client's business and Google Ads campaign types. This approach is not only ineffective, but also highlights a failure to perform basic due diligence, leading to wasted resources and a complete disregard for the client's actual needs. Professional reasoning. Professionals should always prioritize understanding the client's core business objectives before proposing any advertising strategy. This involves asking clarifying questions about their desired outcomes, target audience, and existing marketing efforts. Once objectives are clear, the next step is to match these objectives with the most appropriate Google Ads campaign type and objective, ensuring that conversion tracking is set up accurately to measure success. If there's a mismatch between the client's perceived needs and the most effective solution, it's the professional's responsibility to educate the client and guide them towards the optimal strategy, rather than simply agreeing to a potentially ineffective approach. This ensures transparency, builds trust, and ultimately leads to better client outcomes. Question 3. The monitoring system demonstrates a significant drop in conversion volume for a client's shopping campaigns over the past week, with a concurrent increase in ad impressions but a decrease in click-through rate. The client is requesting immediate action to reverse this trend and boost sales. Which of the following actions represents the most appropriate and compliant initial response? Option A. Immediately increase bids across all product groups and implement a higher target ROAS bid strategy to drive more conversions. Option B. Focus solely on increasing bids for the top-performing product groups to maximize immediate sales, disregarding other campaign elements for the time being. Option C. Implement a maximize conversions bidding strategy across the entire campaign to capture as many conversions as possible, assuming the drop is due to insufficient volume. Option D. Conduct a comprehensive review of the Google Merchant Center diagnostics for any product disapprovals or policy violations, and then analyze the product feed for accuracy and completeness before adjusting bids and product groups. The correct answer is A. Immediately increase bids across all product groups and implement a higher target ROAS bid strategy to drive more conversions. Explanation: this scenario is professionally challenging because it requires balancing the client's desire for immediate sales with the need for sustainable, compliant, and effective long-term campaign performance within the Google Ads ecosystem. The challenge lies in interpreting performance data and making strategic adjustments that align with both business objectives and Google's policies, particularly concerning shopping campaigns and product feed integrity. Careful judgment is required to avoid actions that could lead to account suspension or suboptimal results. The correct approach involves a holistic review of the product feed and campaign structure, prioritizing the identification and resolution of diagnostic issues in Google Merchant Center before making significant bidding adjustments. This aligns with Google's best practices for shopping campaigns, which emphasize a well-optimized product feed as the foundation for ad performance. Addressing diagnostics first ensures that product data is accurate and compliant, preventing potential disapprovals and improving ad visibility. Subsequently, refining product groups and adjusting bidding strategies based on performance data, while considering the competitive landscape, allows for targeted optimization. This methodical, data-driven, and policy-compliant approach is ethically sound and professionally responsible, as it aims for genuine performance improvement without resorting to potentially manipulative or non-compliant tactics. An incorrect approach would be to immediately increase bids across all products in an attempt to boost sales without first addressing underlying feed issues. This fails to recognize that poor product data can lead to wasted ad spend and can even trigger policy violations, potentially resulting in disapprovals or account suspension. Another incorrect approach is to focus solely on bidding strategies without optimizing product groups. This overlooks the critical role of segmentation in shopping campaigns, where tailored bids and ad copy for specific product categories are essential for effective targeting and ROI. Furthermore, making broad bid adjustments without considering the competitive landscape or the specific performance of individual products or product groups is a reactive and potentially inefficient strategy. Professionals should adopt a structured decision-making process that begins with a thorough audit of the Google Merchant Center, focusing on diagnostics and feed quality. This should be followed by an analysis of the shopping campaign structure, including product grouping and performance metrics. Only after ensuring the foundational elements are sound should bidding strategies be reviewed and adjusted, taking into account competitive intelligence and the specific goals of the campaign. This systematic approach ensures that optimizations are based on accurate data and adhere to platform policies, leading to more sustainable and effective results. Question 4. Upon reviewing the current sales performance and the ambitious revenue targets for the next fiscal year, the sales director is considering a new strategy. This strategy involves incentivizing the sales team to emphasize potential future benefits of a new software product, even if those benefits are not yet fully realized or guaranteed. The director believes this approach will drive immediate sales and expand market share by creating a sense of urgency and highlighting aspirational outcomes for clients. The proposed tactics include using testimonials that focus on these future possibilities and offering significant discounts for early adopters who commit to long-term contracts based on these projected outcomes. Which of the following approaches best aligns with ethical sales practices and regulatory compliance for advertising and sales in the context of Google Ads certification in sales? Option A. Implement a sales strategy that heavily relies on projecting future product enhancements and potential market shifts that the software will enable, using aspirational language and forward-looking testimonials to create excitement and secure early commitments. Option B. Develop a sales strategy that focuses on clearly articulating the current, demonstrable benefits of the software, supported by evidence and case studies of existing successful implementation. This strategy would involve thorough lead qualification to ensure clients understand the product's current capabilities and how they address their specific needs, and the value proposition would be grounded in tangible results. Option C. Create a sales strategy that prioritizes upselling existing clients on new features that are currently in beta testing, promising them exclusive access and future benefits if they sign new contracts based on these unproven functionalities. Option D. Focus on aggressive lead generation through broad online advertising campaigns, encouraging sales representatives to use high-pressure tactics to close deals quickly by highlighting the perceived competitive advantage the software offers, regardless of the client's immediate needs. The correct answer is B. Develop a sales strategy that focuses on clearly articulating the current, demonstrable benefits of the software, supported by evidence and case studies of existing successful implementations. This strategy would involve thorough lead qualification to ensure clients understand the product's current capabilities and how they address their specific needs, and the value proposition would be grounded in tangible results. Explanation. This scenario presents a professional challenge because it requires balancing aggressive sales targets with ethical considerations and adherence to advertising regulations. The core difficulty lies in ensuring that the proposed sales strategy, while aiming for business development and increased revenue, does not mislead potential clients or violate advertising standards. Careful judgment is needed to distinguish between persuasive sales techniques and deceptive practices. The correct approach involves developing a sales strategy that focuses on understanding client needs and demonstrating genuine value, aligning with the principles of ethical sales and business development. This approach prioritizes building long-term relationships based on trust and transparency, which is crucial for sustainable growth and compliance with advertising guidelines that prohibit misleading claims. By conducting thorough market and competitive analysis, and then crafting a value proposition that accurately reflects the product or service's benefits, the sales team can effectively generate leads and close deals without resorting to unethical or non-compliant tactics. This aligns with the overarching goal of responsible business development. An incorrect approach that involves exaggerating product benefits to meet sales quotas is ethically flawed and legally risky. Such exaggeration constitutes misleading advertising, which is prohibited under advertising standards. This can lead to reputational damage, loss of customer trust, and potential regulatory penalties. Another incorrect approach, focusing solely on aggressive lead generation without proper qualification, wastes resources and can lead to a poor customer experience, as unqualified leads are unlikely to convert and may feel pressured. This also undermines the principles of effective sales pipeline management and customer relationship management. Finally, an approach that neglects to analyze the competitive landscape and instead relies on generic sales pitches fails to differentiate the offering and demonstrate unique value, making it less effective and potentially leading to misrepresentation if the pitch implies superiority without substantiation. Professionals should employ a decision-making framework that begins with a thorough understanding of the regulatory environment and ethical guidelines governing advertising and sales. This should be followed by a comprehensive analysis of the market, competitors, and target audience to identify genuine opportunities and potential challenges. The next step is to develop a sales strategy that is both effective in achieving business objectives and compliant with all regulations. This involves clearly defining the value proposition, establishing robust lead qualification processes, and training the sales team on ethical selling techniques and product knowledge. Regular performance monitoring and feedback loops are essential to ensure ongoing compliance and adapt the strategy as needed. Question 5. Cost-benefit analysis shows that a new local business owner is eager to drive foot traffic and phone inquiries. They are considering several implementation strategies for their Google Ads local campaigns. Which strategy best balances the potential for increased sales with adherence to advertising best practices and user privacy considerations? Option A. Aggressively bid on broad local search terms to maximize call volume, without detailed GMB integration or explicit user consent for call tracking. Option B. Integrate Google My Business fully, ensure precise location targeting, utilize local inventory ads and local search ads with accurate information, and implement call and store visit tracking with explicit user consent and clear disclosures. Option C. Launch local inventory ads without ensuring product information is up to date to create a sense of immediate availability. Option D. Broadly target large geographical areas for store visit tracking without granular control or clear attribution to capture maximum potential customers. The correct answer is B. Integrate Google My Business fully, ensure precise location targeting, utilize local inventory ads and local search ads with accurate information, and implement call and store visit tracking with explicit user consent and clear disclosures. Explanation. This scenario presents a professional challenge because it requires balancing aggressive sales targets with the ethical and regulatory obligations of Google Ads, specifically concerning local campaign implementation and data privacy. The core tension lies in ensuring that the pursuit of store visits and call tracking, while beneficial for sales, does not inadvertently lead to misleading advertising or a violation of user privacy expectations, which are implicitly governed by Google's advertising policies and general consumer protection principles. Careful judgment is required to select strategies that are both effective and compliant. The correct approach involves prioritizing the accurate and transparent integration of Google My Business (GMB) with local campaigns, ensuring location targeting is precise, and utilizing ad formats like local inventory ads and local search ads in a manner that clearly reflects available inventory and services. Furthermore, employing appropriate bidding strategies that align with local objectives and setting up store visits and call tracking with explicit user consent and clear disclosure are paramount. This approach is correct because it adheres to Google's advertising policies, which emphasize user trust and transparency. Specifically, it aligns with guidelines on local advertising, data collection for tracking purposes, requiring consent and clear privacy policies, and the prohibition of deceptive practices. By focusing on these elements, the advertiser maximizes the potential for local campaign success while mitigating risks of policy violations and reputational damage. An incorrect approach that focuses solely on maximizing call volume through aggressive bidding on broad local search terms without clear GMB integration or user consent for call tracking would be ethically and regulatorily unsound. This fails to respect user privacy and could lead to misleading ad experiences if the calls are not directly relevant to the advertised local offering. Another incorrect approach that prioritizes store visit tracking by broadly targeting large geographical areas without granular control or clear attribution mechanisms risks misrepresenting the campaign's effectiveness and potentially violating data privacy principles by collecting data without sufficient user awareness or consent. A third incorrect approach that neglects the proper setup of local inventory ads, leading to outdated or inaccurate product information being displayed, would be deceptive to consumers and violate Google's policies against misleading content. The professional decision-making process for similar situations should involve a thorough understanding of Google Ads policies for local campaigns, including specific requirements for GMB integration, location targeting, ad formats, and tracking. It should also incorporate an assessment of user privacy expectations and relevant consumer protection guidelines. Before implementing any strategy, advertisers should ask, does this approach clearly inform the user? Does it obtain necessary consent for data collection and tracking? Does it accurately represent the business's local offerings? Does it comply with all stated Google Ads policies? This systematic evaluation ensures that sales objectives are pursued within an ethical and compliant framework. Question 6. Operational review demonstrates that a new client, a local bakery, wishes to significantly increase online sales. They have provided a customer list from their loyalty program and expressed a desire to reach individuals who are actively searching for custom cakes or birthday cakes online, as well as those who have previously visited their website but haven't purchased. The client also mentioned a strong interest in reaching people who are foodies or interested in desserts generally. Considering Google Ads' audience targeting capabilities and the need for ethical and compliant advertising, which combination of strategies would be most appropriate for this client's objectives? Option A. In-market audiences for desserts and baked goods and affinity audiences for foodies, combined with demographic targeting for higher income brackets. Option B. Similar audiences based on the loyalty list, targeting based on inferred health conditions, and broad demographic targeting without specific exclusions. Option C. Customer match using the provided loyalty list, custom intent audiences targeting custom cakes and birthday cakes, and remarketing lists for search ads, RLSA for website visitors. Option D. Remarketing lists for display ads targeting all website visitors, custom intent audiences for wedding venues and event planning, and detailed demographics for new parents. The correct answer is C. Customer match using the provided loyalty list, custom intent audiences targeting custom cakes and birthday cakes, and remarketing lists for search ads, RLSA for website visitors. Explanation. This scenario presents a common challenge in digital advertising. balancing aggressive audience targeting with user privacy and regulatory compliance. The professional challenge lies in identifying the most effective and ethically sound audience targeting strategies within the specific constraints of the Google Ads platform and its associated advertising policies, which are designed to protect user data and prevent misuse. Careful judgment is required to select strategies that are both performant and compliant, avoiding any that could lead to discriminatory practices or privacy violations. The correct approach involves leveraging Google Ads' built-in audience targeting capabilities in a way that respects user consent and avoids inferring sensitive personal information. This includes using broad, interest-based, or intent-based audiences that are not tied to personally identifiable information or sensitive categories. Strategies like in-market audiences and affinity audiences are generally compliant because they group users based on demonstrated online behavior and interests, rather than sensitive personal attributes. Similarly, broad demographic targeting, when not used to exclude or target based on protected characteristics, can be acceptable. The ethical and regulatory justification stems from adhering to Google's advertising policies, which prohibit discriminatory targeting and the misuse of sensitive data. These policies are in place to ensure fair advertising practices and protect vulnerable groups. Incorrect approaches would involve using audience targeting methods that could be interpreted as discriminatory, or that rely on inferring sensitive personal information, which is a violation of Google's policies and broader privacy regulations. For instance, attempting to target or exclude based on inferred sensitive demographics, like health conditions or financial distress, or using overly specific remarketing lists that could inadvertently reveal sensitive user information would be problematic. Customer match, while powerful, requires careful management to ensure the data used is ethically sourced and compliant with privacy laws, and its misuse for discriminatory purposes is a significant ethical failure. Custom intent audiences, if built with keywords that are overly sensitive or indicative of protected characteristics, could also lead to non-compliance. The professional decision-making process should involve a thorough understanding of Google Ads' audience targeting options and their associated policy implications. Before implementing any strategy, advertisers should ask, does this strategy rely on sensitive personal information? Could this strategy lead to discrimination? Is this strategy compliant with Google's advertising policies and relevant privacy laws? Prioritizing user privacy and ethical advertising practices, even if it means slightly less granular targeting, is paramount. When in doubt, it is always best to err on the side of caution and consult Google's official documentation and policies. Question 7. Examination of the data shows that an app install campaign has achieved a high number of installs, but user engagement metrics within the app are significantly lower than anticipated. The sales team is pushing to report only the install numbers to stakeholders to highlight the campaign's apparent success, while the analytics team is concerned about the low engagement indicating potential issues with user acquisition quality. What is the most ethically sound and compliant approach to reporting this campaign's performance? Option A. Exclusively report the high number of app installs, omitting any mention of in-app engagement metrics to present the campaign as a clear success. Option B. Report the total number of app installs as the primary success metric, while also providing a separate, contextualized overview of in-app engagement metrics, explaining that engagement is a secondary, longer-term indicator of user value. Option C. Focus the report on in-app engagement metrics, suggesting that while installs were high, the quality of users acquired needs further investigation, potentially downplaying the install volume. Option D. Report a combined metric that artificially inflates the perceived success by averaging installs and engagement, even if the two metrics are not directly comparable. The correct answer is B. Report the total number of app installs as the primary success metric, while also providing a separate, contextualized overview of in-app engagement metrics, explaining that engagement is a secondary, longer-term indicator of user value. Explanation. This scenario presents a professional challenge because it requires balancing the desire to maximize app installs with the ethical obligation to provide accurate and non-misleading information to potential users. The core tension lies in how to represent campaign performance when the primary objective is app installs, but user engagement metrics are also being tracked and could paint a different picture. Careful judgment is required to ensure that the reporting aligns with Google Ads policies and maintains user trust. The correct approach involves transparently reporting on the primary objective, app installs, while also acknowledging and contextualizing secondary metrics like engagement, without misrepresenting the overall success of the campaign. This aligns with Google Ads policies that prohibit deceptive or misleading advertising. By focusing on the primary KPI that the campaign was optimized for and providing context for engagement metrics, the advertiser demonstrates a commitment to honest reporting and avoids creating a false impression of success. This approach respects the user's intent and the platform's guidelines. An incorrect approach would be to selectively highlight only the most favorable metrics, such as a high number of installs, while downplaying or omitting data that suggests low user engagement or retention. This could be considered misleading because it presents an incomplete and potentially deceptive picture of the campaign's true performance. Such an approach risks violating Google Ads policies against deceptive practices and could lead to account suspension. Another incorrect approach would be to inflate engagement metrics by using misleading attribution methods or by focusing on vanity metrics that do not reflect genuine user value. This not only misrepresents campaign performance, but also undermines the integrity of the data and the advertiser's credibility. It also fails to provide actionable insights for future campaign optimization. A further incorrect approach would be to solely focus on engagement metrics and ignore the primary objective of app installs, especially if the campaign was specifically set up and optimized for installs. This would be a misrepresentation of the campaign's purpose and could lead to misinformed strategic decisions. The professional decision-making process for similar situations should involve 1. Clearly defining the campaign's primary objective and the KPIs that measure its success. 2. Ensuring all reporting accurately reflects performance against these objectives. 3. Being transparent about all relevant metrics, providing context where necessary. 4. Adhering strictly to Google Ads policies regarding advertising and reporting. 5. Prioritizing user trust and ethical conduct over short-term gains from misleading reporting. Question 8. Assessment of a digital marketing manager's strategy for new YouTube video campaign promoting a sustainable fashion brand, considering the need to maximize reach and engagement while adhering to Google Ads policies and best practices for user experience. The manager is evaluating several approaches for ad format selection and audience targeting. Option A. Prioritize remarketing to all past website visitors with lengthy, unskippable video ads, regardless of their previous engagement level with the brand, and ignore YouTube analytics data. Option B. Focus exclusively on non-skippable in-stream ads to ensure maximum message delivery, targeting all available age groups and interests related to fashion, with minimal review of analytics. Option C. Utilize a mix of skippable in-stream ads and bumper ads, targeting broad demographic segments interested in fashion and sustainability, and regularly review YouTube analytics to optimize view-through rates and engagement metrics. Option D. Employ video discovery ads across all campaign objectives, targeting only highly specific, niche custom intent audiences, and rely solely on click-through rates as the primary performance indicator. The correct answer is C. Utilize a mix of skippable in-stream ads and bumper ads, targeting broad demographic segments interested in fashion and sustainability, and regularly review YouTube analytics to optimize view-through rates and engagement metrics. Explanation. This scenario presents a common challenge in digital advertising, balancing campaign performance with adherence to platform policies and user experience best practices. The professional challenge lies in understanding how different video ad formats and targeting strategies interact with YouTube's ecosystem and user behavior, while also ensuring compliance with Google Ads policies, which are designed to protect users and maintain a healthy advertising environment. Careful judgment is required to select the most effective and compliant approach. The correct approach involves prioritizing video ad formats that align with user viewing habits on YouTube and employing targeting strategies that reach relevant audiences without being intrusive or misleading. This approach recognizes that user engagement is paramount for campaign success, and that intrusive or irrelevant advertising can lead to negative brand perception and policy violations. Specifically, utilizing skippable in-stream ads for broader reach and engagement, combined with demographic and interest-based targeting, offers a balanced strategy. This aligns with Google Ads policies that encourage relevant and engaging ad experiences. YouTube Analytics provides the data to refine these choices, ensuring optimization towards campaign goals while respecting user experience. An incorrect approach would be to solely focus on maximizing impressions or clicks through less user-friendly formats or overly aggressive targeting, without considering the user experience or potential policy implications. For instance, relying exclusively on non-skippable in-stream ads for all campaign objectives might lead to user frustration and a higher likelihood of ad blockers or negative sentiment, potentially violating the spirit of Google Ads policies promoting positive user experiences. Similarly, using broad, untargeted custom intent audiences without proper research could result in irrelevant ad delivery, leading to wasted spend and potential user complaints, which could indirectly lead to policy issues. Another incorrect approach would be to neglect the optimization and analytics aspects of video campaigns. Failing to monitor YouTube Analytics for key metrics like view-through rate, audience retention, and conversion data means missing opportunities to refine ad creative, targeting, and bidding strategies. This can lead to inefficient spending and underperformance, and in extreme cases, could result in campaigns that are flagged for poor performance or user dissatisfaction, which can have policy implications. The professional decision-making process for similar situations should involve a thorough understanding of YouTube's ad formats and their intended use cases, a deep dive into audience targeting options and their ethical implications, and a commitment to continuous monitoring and optimization using available analytics. Professionals must always consider the user experience as a primary driver of campaign success and ensure all strategies align with Google Ads policies, which are designed to foster a positive and effective advertising ecosystem. Question 9. Which approach would be most effective and compliant for optimizing ad copy and creative elements within the Google Ads platform, considering the need for persuasive messaging and adherence to advertising standards? Option A. Prioritizing clear, accurate, and substantiated claims, ensuring unambiguous calls to action, relevant ad extensions, and a strong alignment between ad messaging and landing page content, while testing compliant variations. Option B. Emphasizing sensational headlines and exaggerated benefits to capture immediate attention, even if claims are difficult to substantiate, and using broad calls to action to encourage clicks. Option C. Focusing on aggressive keyword integration and the use of numerous, potentially irrelevant ad extensions to maximize visibility, with less concern for landing page relevance. Option D. Employing vague and ambiguous language in ad copy and calls to action to allow for broad interpretation, and prioritizing creative visuals that are attention-grabbing but not necessarily representative of the product or service. The correct answer is A. Prioritizing clear, accurate, and substantiated claims, ensuring unambiguous calls to action, relevant ad extensions, and a strong alignment between ad messaging and landing page content, while testing compliant variations. Explanation. Scenario analysis. This scenario presents a common challenge in digital advertising, balancing persuasive copywriting with regulatory compliance. Advertisers must craft compelling ad copy that drives conversions, while strictly adhering to the advertising standards and consumer protection laws relevant to the Google Ads platform and the target market. Misinterpreting or ignoring these guidelines can lead to ad disapproval, account suspension, and damage to brand reputation. The professional challenge lies in understanding the nuances of acceptable claims, avoiding misleading statements, and ensuring transparency, all within the dynamic environment of online advertising. Correct approach analysis. The correct approach involves prioritizing clarity, accuracy, and substantiation of all claims made in ad copy. This means ensuring that any benefit or feature highlighted in headlines and descriptions is demonstrably true and can be supported by evidence, especially if it relates to performance, efficacy, or comparative advantages. The call to action must be unambiguous, and ad extensions should provide relevant, supplementary information without being deceptive. Responsive search ads should be structured to allow Google's algorithms to test variations, but the underlying content must remain compliant. For display and video ads, creative elements must align with the messaging and avoid misleading visuals or claims. Crucially, /B testing should focus on optimizing compliant variations, and landing page relevance is paramount to avoid user deception. Brand messaging must be consistent and truthful across all touchpoints. This comprehensive adherence to truthfulness and transparency aligns with the core principles of responsible advertising and the specific guidelines of platforms like Google Ads, which aim to protect consumers from misleading information. Incorrect approach is analysis, an approach that focuses solely on sensationalism and hyperbole without regard for factual accuracy or substantiation would be professionally unacceptable. This could involve making exaggerated claims about product performance or benefits that cannot be proven, which directly violates principles of truthful advertising and could be considered misleading under consumer protection laws. Another incorrect approach would be to use vague or ambiguous language in the call to action or ad copy that could be interpreted in multiple ways, potentially leading users to believe they are agreeing to something they are not. This lack of clarity can be seen as deceptive. Furthermore, an approach that prioritizes aggressive keyword stuffing or irrelevant ad extensions to manipulate search rankings, rather than providing genuine value to the user, would be a failure. This can lead to poor user experience and violate platform policies against manipulative practices. Finally, an approach that neglects to ensure landing page relevance, leading users to a page that does not match the ad's promise, is a significant ethical and practical failure. This erodes user trust and can result in high bounce rates and poor conversion performance, ultimately undermining the advertising effort. Professional reasoning. Professionals should adopt a framework that begins with a thorough understanding of Google Ads policies and relevant consumer protection regulations for the target market. Before drafting any ad copy, they should identify the core value proposition and ensure it can be accurately and truthfully represented. All claims should be reviewed for potential ambiguity or exaggeration. A/B testing should be conducted within the bounds of compliance, focusing on optimizing messaging that is both effective and truthful. Landing page content must be meticulously aligned with ad messaging. This systematic, compliance-first approach ensures that advertising efforts are not only effective, but also ethical and sustainable. Question 10. Implementation of a performance reporting strategy for a new client focused on increasing online sales requires selecting the most effective method to communicate campaign effectiveness. Given the client's primary interest in understanding the direct impact of their advertising spend on revenue, which reporting approach would best align with their objectives and the principles of effective Google Ads performance analysis? Option A. Creating a report that emphasizes the lowest cost per click (CPC) across all campaigns, regardless of their conversion performance. Option B. Providing a report that primarily focuses on impressions and click-through rates (CTR) for all active campaigns, highlighting the total number of clicks generated. Option C. Submitting a detailed spreadsheet containing raw data from the Google Ads interface, including all available metrics without any segmentation or summarization. Option D. Presenting a custom report in Google Data Studio that segments data by conversion rate, cost per conversion, and return on ad spend, alongside trend analysis of these key metrics over the past month. The correct answer is D. Presenting a custom report in Google Data Studio that segments data by conversion rate, cost per conversion, and return on ad spend, alongside trend analysis of these key metrics over the past month. Explanation. This scenario presents a common challenge in digital advertising, effectively communicating campaign performance to stakeholders with varying levels of technical understanding and different business objectives. The professional challenge lies in translating raw data into actionable insights that align with the client's goals, while adhering to the principles of transparency and accuracy expected within the Google Ads ecosystem. Careful judgment is required to select the most appropriate reporting methods and metrics. The correct approach involves leveraging the Google Ads reporting interface and potentially Google Data Studio to create a custom report that segments data by key performance indicators relevant to the client's sales objectives. This approach is correct because it directly addresses the stakeholder's need for understanding sales impact. By focusing on metrics like conversion rate, cost per conversion (CPA), and return on ad spend (ROAS, the report provides a clear picture of how advertising spend is contributing to actual sales. Segmenting the data allows for deeper analysis, identifying which campaigns, ad groups, or keywords are driving the best results, enabling informed optimization decisions. This aligns with the ethical imperative of providing accurate and relevant performance data to clients, facilitating informed business decisions, and demonstrating the value of the advertising investment. An incorrect approach would be to present a report solely focused on high-level metrics like impressions and clicks without context. This fails to demonstrate the direct impact on sales, which is the stakeholder's primary concern. It also neglects the core purpose of advertising, which is to drive conversions and revenue, not just visibility. This approach lacks analytical depth and does not provide actionable insights for improving sales performance. Another incorrect approach would be to present a highly technical report filled with granular data and complex statistical analyses that are not easily understood by a non-technical stakeholder. While the data might be accurate, its presentation fails to meet the stakeholder's need for clear, concise, and relevant information. This can lead to confusion, mistrust, and an inability to make informed decisions, undermining the professional relationship and the effectiveness of the advertising campaign. A further incorrect approach would be to present a report that selectively highlights only the positive metrics while downplaying or omitting underperforming areas. This lack of transparency is ethically unsound and can lead to misinformed decisions and a false sense of campaign success. It violates the principle of providing a true and fair representation of performance, which is crucial for building trust and ensuring accountability. The professional decision-making process for similar situations should involve 1. Understanding the stakeholders' objectives and their level of technical expertise. 2. Identifying the key performance indicators, KPI, that directly measure progress towards those objectives. 3. Utilizing the Google Ads reporting interface and tools like Google Data Studio to gather and visualize relevant data. 4. Segmenting data to uncover deeper insights and identify areas for optimization. 5. Presenting the information in a clear, concise, and actionable manner, tailored to the stakeholders' understanding. 6. Maintaining transparency by reporting on both successes and areas for improvement. Question 11. The assessment process reveals that a sales-focused Google Ads campaign is underperforming in terms of conversion volume despite a healthy click-through rate. The campaign utilizes broad match keywords extensively, has minimal negative keyword implementation, and features generic ad copy with a vague call to action. The advertiser is considering increasing the bid budget significantly to drive more traffic, believing more clicks will automatically translate to more sales, which approach best addresses the underlying issues and aligns with effective sales campaign optimization. Option A. Focus solely on optimizing bidding strategies to target higher value conversions without making significant changes to keyword selection or ad copy, believing that the platform's algorithms will find the right users. Option B. Increase the daily budget substantially to allow for more impressions and clicks, assuming that a higher volume of traffic will naturally lead to more sales, and continue using broad match keywords to capture a wider audience. Option C. Implement a comprehensive keyword research strategy. Refine match types to be more specific, aggressively add negative keywords based on the search terms report, and rewrite ad copy to be more compelling and include a clear, action-oriented call to action, while also analyzing landing page relevance. Option D. Remove all ad extensions to simplify the ad and reduce potential confusion, and rely on the main ad text to convey all necessary information to potential customers. The correct answer is C. Implement a comprehensive keyword research strategy. Refine match types to be more specific, aggressively add negative keywords based on the search terms report, and rewrite ad copy to be more compelling and include a clear, action-oriented call to action, while also analyzing landing page relevance. Explanation. This scenario is professionally challenging because optimizing a Google Ads campaign for sales requires a nuanced understanding of both performance metrics and the ethical implications of advertising practices. The core challenge lies in balancing the drive for conversions with the need for transparency and accuracy, ensuring that advertising efforts do not mislead potential customers or violate advertising standards. Careful judgment is required to interpret data, select appropriate strategies, and craft compelling yet truthful ad copy. The correct approach involves a holistic strategy that prioritizes user experience and compliance. This includes meticulous keyword research to target relevant searches, employing appropriate match types to control ad visibility, and utilizing negative keywords to prevent wasted spend on irrelevant queries. Ad copywriting should be clear, concise, and accurately reflect the product or service, with strong calls to action that set realistic expectations. Ad extensions should be used to provide valuable, supplementary information without being deceptive. Bidding strategies should be chosen based on clear sales objectives, and ad scheduling and targeting should be refined to reach the most receptive audience at the right time and place. Crucially, The search terms report must be regularly analyzed to identify new keyword opportunities and refine negative keyword lists, ensuring continuous improvement. /B testing of ad copy and landing pages is essential for optimizing conversion rates and user experience. Quality score and landing page optimization are fundamental to long-term success, ensuring ads are relevant and landing pages deliver on the ad's promise. This comprehensive, data-driven, and user-centric approach aligns with the principles of responsible advertising, aiming to build trust and drive genuine sales. An incorrect approach that focuses solely on aggressive bidding, without considering keyword relevance or ad copy accuracy risks, misleading users and violating advertising guidelines by creating a disconnect between the ad and the actual offering. This can lead to high click-through rates but low conversion rates and a poor user experience, potentially resulting in account disapproval. Another incorrect approach that neglects the search terms report and negative keywords will lead to inefficient ad spend, showing ads to users who are unlikely to convert and potentially exposing the advertiser to irrelevant or even harmful search queries. Furthermore, failing to /B test ad copy and landing pages means missing opportunities to improve performance and user satisfaction, relying on assumptions rather than data. Relying on generic ad copy without specific calls to action or compelling value propositions will fail to engage potential customers effectively. Professionals should adopt a decision-making framework that begins with a clear understanding of campaign objectives and target audience. This is followed by thorough keyword research and strategic use of match types and negative keywords. Ad copy and extensions should be crafted with accuracy, clarity, and a focus on user value. Bidding strategies should be aligned with measurable sales goals. Continuous monitoring and analysis of performance data, particularly the search terms report, are critical for iterative optimization. /B testing should be an ongoing process for both ads and landing pages. Finally, adherence to all relevant advertising policies and ethical considerations should be paramount throughout the campaign lifecycle. Question 12. During the evaluation of a client's underperforming Google Ads account, which of the following optimization strategies would be the most effective and compliant approach to improve campaign performance and ensure adherence to UK advertising regulations and SISI guidelines? Option A. Make significant, sweeping changes to ad copy across all ad groups, introducing more aggressive sales language and broad calls to action without prior keyword or landing page relevance analysis. Option B. Conduct a comprehensive account audit to identify specific areas of inefficiency, including keyword relevance, ad copy effectiveness, landing page experience, bidding strategies, budget allocation, campaign structure, targeting, ad extensions, and negative keyword management, and then implement targeted, data-driven optimizations based on these findings. Option C. Immediately increase the daily budget across all active campaigns to inject more ad spend and potentially capture more impressions, assuming the current underperformance is due to insufficient reach. Option D. Focus solely on increasing bids for all keywords to ensure ads are shown more frequently, disregarding the current quality score and the potential for increased cost per conversion. Correct answer is B. Conduct a comprehensive account audit to identify specific areas of inefficiency, including keyword relevance, ad copy effectiveness, landing page experience, bidding strategies, budget allocation, campaign structure, targeting, ad extensions, and negative keyword management, and then implement targeted, data-driven optimizations based on these findings. Explanation. Scenario analysis. This scenario presents a common challenge in Google Ads management where a client's campaign is underperforming, leading to wasted ad spend and missed opportunities. The professional challenge lies in diagnosing the root causes of poor performance and recommending actionable, compliant optimization strategies. It requires a deep understanding of Google Ads best practices, the client's business objectives, and importantly, adherence to the specific regulatory framework governing advertising in the relevant jurisdiction, which for this exam is assumed to be the UK, adhering to UK regulations and SISI guidelines. Misinterpreting performance data or applying non-compliant optimization techniques can lead to significant financial losses for the client and potential regulatory breaches. Correct approach analysis. The correct approach involves a systematic account audit focusing on key performance indicators and their underlying drivers. This includes a thorough review of keyword performance, ad copy relevance and effectiveness, landing page experience, bidding strategies, budget allocation, campaign structure, targeting parameters, and the utilization of ad extensions. The primary goal is to identify areas of inefficiency and implement data-driven optimizations that align with the client's business goals and comply with UK advertising standards. For instance, ensuring ad copy is truthful and not misleading. Keywords are highly relevant to the advertised product or service, and landing pages provide a seamless user experience are all critical for both performance and regulatory compliance. Negative keyword management is crucial to prevent ad spend on irrelevant searches, thereby improving quality score and ROI, which is a core tenet of responsible advertising. Incorrect approaches analysis. Implementing broad, unverified changes without a diagnostic audit is a significant failure. For example, drastically increasing bids across all keywords without analyzing their individual performance or quality score is likely to inflate costs without guaranteed returns and could be seen as irresponsible management of client funds. Similarly, making extensive changes to ad copy without considering the relevance to keywords and landing pages, or without testing variations, risks creating a disjointed user experience and potentially misleading consumers, which could contravene UK advertising regulations. Focusing solely on increasing budget without addressing underlying performance issues is also a flawed strategy, as it amplifies existing inefficiencies. Ignoring negative keyword management leads to wasted impressions and clicks, directly impacting campaign efficiency and potentially violating principles of fair advertising by targeting irrelevant audiences. Professional reasoning. Professionals should adopt a data-driven, iterative approach. Begin with a comprehensive audit to understand current performance and identify specific problem areas. Prioritize optimizations based on their potential impact on both performance and compliance. Always test changes systematically and monitor results closely. When making recommendations, clearly articulate the rationale, linking proposed actions to client objectives and regulatory requirements. Maintain transparency with the client regarding performance data and optimization strategies. The decision-making process should be guided by a commitment to maximizing client ROI while upholding the highest ethical and regulatory standards. Question 13. The performance metrics show a significant increase in website traffic from a new campaign, but the conversion rate appears lower than anticipated. The marketing team is considering several strategies to improve this, including adjusting the attribution model and optimizing the landing page. They are also reviewing the current conversion tracking setup to ensure it accurately captures all valuable user interactions across different platforms. Given the regulatory framework for digital advertising, which of the following approaches represents the most compliant and effective strategy for improving conversion performance? Option A. Redesign the landing page with aggressive pop-ups and limited visible information to encourage immediate clicks and perceived conversions. Option B. Switch to a last-click attribution model to simplify performance analysis and focus optimization efforts on the final touchpoint before conversion. Option C. Implement a data-driven attribution model and conduct a /B testing on landing page elements, ensuring all conversion tracking is set up to capture anonymized, aggregated data with user consent. Option D. Enhance conversion tracking to capture detailed user browsing history and personal preferences without explicit user consent to better understand user behavior. The correct answer is C. Implement a data-driven attribution model and conduct a /B testing on landing page elements, ensuring all conversion tracking is set up to capture anonymized, aggregated data with user consent. Explanation. This scenario is professionally challenging because it requires balancing the desire for accurate conversion tracking and optimization with the need to comply with data privacy regulations, specifically those relevant to the Google Ads certification in sales exam jurisdiction. The core challenge lies in ensuring that the chosen attribution model and optimization techniques do not inadvertently violate user privacy or lead to misleading campaign performance reporting, which could have legal and reputational consequences. The correct approach involves implementing a data-driven attribution model that leverages Google Ads' built-in capabilities. This model is generally preferred as it assigns credit across the entire customer journey, providing a more holistic view of campaign effectiveness. Crucially, it relies on anonymized and aggregated data, respecting user privacy by not tracking or storing personally identifiable information, PI, without explicit consent. This aligns with the principles of responsible data handling and transparency expected within the regulatory framework governing digital advertising. By using data-driven attribution, advertisers can optimize their campaigns based on a more accurate understanding of which touchpoints contribute to conversions, leading to more efficient ad spend and better ROI, all while adhering to privacy standards. An incorrect approach would be to solely rely on a last-click attribution model without considering other touchpoints. While simple to understand, this model often overvalues the final interaction and undervalues earlier, potentially influential, touchpoints. From a regulatory perspective, this is not inherently a violation, but it can lead to misinformed optimization decisions that are not ethically sound in terms of efficient resource allocation. Another incorrect approach would be to implement conversion tracking that collects sensitive user data without clear consent mechanisms. For instance, tracking specific purchase details that could be considered PII without obtaining explicit opt-in consent would violate data privacy regulations. This could lead to significant legal penalties and damage user trust. A further incorrect approach would be to manipulate landing page optimization solely to inflate conversion rates through deceptive practices, such as misleading calls to action or hidden information. This is ethically unsound and could be considered a violation of advertising standards that prohibit deceptive advertising, potentially leading to penalties from regulatory bodies. The professional decision-making process should involve a thorough understanding of the available attribution models and their implications for both campaign performance and data privacy. It requires prioritizing user consent and data protection in all tracking and optimization efforts. When implementing conversion tracking, advertisers must ensure they are only collecting data that is necessary for optimization and that they have the appropriate legal basis for doing so. Regularly reviewing and auditing tracking implementations for compliance with privacy laws and advertising standards is essential. Furthermore, choosing attribution models that provide a balanced view of the customer journey, rather than a skewed one, promotes more effective and ethical campaign management. Question 14. Performance analysis shows that an advertiser selling a new weight loss supplement is considering the following approaches for their Google Ads campaign copy. Which approach best aligns with Google Ads advertising policies and editorial guidelines for sensitive categories like health and weight loss? Option A. Focus on the scientifically formulated ingredients and their general benefits for metabolism, while clearly stating that individual results may vary and that the product is intended to support a healthy lifestyle. Option B. Use vague language about feeling better and improved energy levels without mentioning weight loss directly, hoping to attract a broad audience interested in general wellness. Option C. Highlight the product's unique fat-burning mechanism and claim it's the fastest way to achieve your dream body, without providing specific scientific backing or disclaimers. Option D. Emphasize dramatic before and after transformations and guarantee significant weight loss within a short time frame, using testimonials that highlight rapid results. Correct answer is D. Emphasize dramatic before and after transformations and guarantee significant weight loss within a short time frame, using testimonials that highlight rapid results. Explanation. This scenario presents a professional challenge because it requires a nuanced understanding of Google Ads policies, specifically concerning restricted content and the potential for misleading advertising. The advertiser is attempting to promote a weight loss supplement, a category known for its sensitivity and strict regulatory scrutiny. The challenge lies in balancing the desire to highlight product benefits with the absolute necessity of adhering to Google's policies to avoid account suspension and maintain brand integrity. Careful judgment is required to ensure all claims are substantiated and do not exploit consumer vulnerabilities. The correct approach involves meticulously reviewing the advertising copy against Google's advertising policies, particularly the sections on health and health supplements and editorial guidelines. This includes ensuring that all claims made about the product's effectiveness are accurate, not exaggerated, and ideally supported by verifiable evidence. The focus should be on factual descriptions of ingredients and intended use, rather than making unsubstantiated promises of rapid or guaranteed results. This approach is best professional practice because it directly addresses the core of Google's compliance requirements, prioritizing transparency and consumer protection. By avoiding misleading claims and adhering to the spirit and letter of the policies, the advertiser safeguards their account and builds trust with potential customers. An incorrect approach would be to proceed with advertising copy that makes strong, unsubstantiated claims about rapid weight loss or guaranteed results. This fails to meet Google's standards for health-related advertising, which prohibits claims that are misleading, exaggerated, or exploit consumer insecurities. Such an approach risks immediate disapproval of ads and potential account suspension due to policy violations. Another incorrect approach would be to focus solely on product features without addressing the potential health implications or regulatory requirements for health supplements. While factual descriptions are important, omitting context or failing to align with the specific restrictions for this sensitive category is a significant oversight. This can lead to ads being flagged for misleading content or for not meeting the specific compliance standards for health products. A further incorrect approach would be to interpret Google's policies loosely, assuming that as long as the claims are not outright lies, they will be acceptable. This demonstrates a misunderstanding of the proactive and preventative nature of advertising policy enforcement. Google aims to prevent harm and misinformation, and claims that create unrealistic expectations or imply miraculous outcomes, even if not demonstrably false, can be considered misleading and violate policies. The professional decision-making process for similar situations should involve a proactive and thorough review of all advertising materials against the most current Google Ads policies. This includes understanding the specific restrictions for sensitive categories like health and pharmaceuticals. When in doubt, it is always advisable to err on the side of caution. Consult Google's policy documentation extensively and consider seeking clarification from Google Ads support if necessary. The ultimate goal is to create advertising that is both effective and compliant, fostering a sustainable and ethical advertising practice. Question 15. The audit findings indicate a recent decline in quality score across several key campaigns and a flagged policy violation related to misleading ad copy in one ad group. The client is concerned about the performance dip and wants immediate improvements. Which of the following actions should be the absolute priority? Option A. Focus solely on optimizing targeting options to reach a more relevant audience, believing this will indirectly improve quality score and resolve the policy issue. Option B. Immediately revise the ad copy in the flagged ad group to comply with Google Ads policies, and then analyze the impact of this change on the quality score and overall campaign performance. Option C. Increase bids across all underperforming campaigns to try and regain lost impressions and clicks, assuming the policy violation is a minor issue. Option D. Pause all campaigns with declining quality scores to prevent further negative impact and await further guidance from Google support. Correct answer is B. Immediately revise the ad copy in the flagged ad group to comply with Google Ads policies, and then analyze the impact of this change on the quality score and overall campaign performance. Explanation. This scenario presents a common challenge in Google Ads management, balancing campaign performance with adherence to platform policies and client expectations. The professional challenge lies in interpreting audit findings, which may highlight performance dips or policy violations, and then devising a corrective strategy that is both effective and compliant. This requires a nuanced understanding of Google Ads fundamentals, including how account structure, bidding strategies, and targeting options interact, as well as a thorough knowledge of Google Ads policies. Careful judgment is required to avoid making changes that could negatively impact performance or lead to further policy issues. The correct approach involves a systematic review of the audit findings, prioritizing any identified policy violations. Addressing policy violations is paramount because failure to do so can lead to ad disapprovals, account suspensions, and ultimately, a loss of advertising privileges. Once policy issues are resolved, the focus shifts to performance optimization. This includes analyzing the impact of the audit findings on key metrics like quality score, CTR, and CPA, and then making targeted adjustments to campaign structure, ad groups, keywords, bidding, and ad extensions. This iterative process ensures that the account remains compliant while striving for improved performance. An incorrect approach would be to solely focus on performance metrics without first addressing any policy violations. This is a significant regulatory and ethical failure, because it risks further policy infractions, which can have severe consequences for the advertiser and the agency. Another incorrect approach is to make broad, sweeping changes across the account without a clear understanding of the root cause of the audit findings. This can lead to unintended negative consequences, such as decreased performance or the introduction of new policy issues, and demonstrates a lack of analytical rigor. Making changes based on assumptions rather than data and policy guidelines is also professionally unacceptable. Professionals should approach such situations by first establishing a clear understanding of the audit findings, distinguishing between performance-related issues and policy violations. A structured decision-making process involves 1. Prioritizing and resolving any identified policy violations immediately. 2. Analyzing the performance data in conjunction with the audit findings to identify specific areas for improvement. 3. Developing a targeted action plan that addresses both policy compliance and performance optimization. 4. Implementing changes methodically and monitoring their impact closely. 5. Documenting all changes and the rationale behind them. Question 16. Benchmark analysis indicates that a key competitor is achieving significant click-through rates on their Google Ads campaigns targeting broad industry terms. Your client wants to understand how to effectively compete and capture market share. Which of the following approaches best balances competitive analysis with adherence to Google Ads policies and ethical advertising practices? Option A. Analyze the competitor's ad copy for common themes and value propositions. Review their publicly visible landing pages to understand their user journey and offers, and use Google Ads Auction Insights report to gauge their general performance relative to your own campaigns. Option B. Directly bid on the competitor's exact brand name keywords and use ad copy that strongly implies affiliation or partnership with them to divert their traffic. Option C. Attempt to gain unauthorized access to the competitor's Google Ads account, or use tools that mimic user behavior to infer their internal campaign structures and targeting. Option D. Employ unauthorized third-party software that claims to scrape competitor keyword lists and bid strategies to replicate their success. The correct answer is A. Analyze the competitor's ad copy for common themes and value propositions. Review their publicly visible landing pages to understand their user journey and offers, and use Google Ads Auction Insights report to gauge their general performance relative to your own campaigns. Explanation: this scenario is professionally challenging because it requires balancing aggressive competitive strategy with ethical and regulatory compliance within the Google Ads framework. The core challenge lies in leveraging competitor insights without engaging in deceptive or unfair practices, which could lead to account suspension and reputational damage. Careful judgment is required to distinguish between legitimate market research and prohibited activities. The correct approach involves using publicly available data and Google Ads' own tools to understand competitor strategies. This includes analyzing their ad copy for messaging themes, their landing pages for user experience and offers, and their general keyword presence. This method aligns with Google Ads policies that permit analysis of competitor activity for strategic planning. It is ethically sound, as it relies on information that competitors are voluntarily making public through their advertising efforts. There are no specific regulatory frameworks beyond Google Ads' own terms of service and advertising policies that govern this type of competitive analysis, as long as it doesn't involve illegal activities like data scraping or misrepresentation. An incorrect approach of directly bidding on competitor brand terms with misleading ad copy is ethically unsound and violates Google Ads policies against deceptive advertising and trademark infringement. Competitors have rights to their brand names, and using them in a way that misleads users into believing your ad is affiliated with them is a direct violation. Another incorrect approach, attempting to reverse engineer competitor landing page code to identify proprietary tracking or conversion mechanisms, crosses into potentially illegal territory regarding intellectual property and data privacy, and is a clear breach of ethical conduct. Finally, using unauthorized third-party tools that claim to steal competitor keyword lists or bid data is highly risky, as these tools often operate in a gray area of legality and can lead to account penalties if Google detects their use or the data they provide is obtained through prohibited means. Professionals should adopt a decision-making framework that prioritizes transparency, adherence to Google Ads policies, and respect for intellectual property. This involves starting with broad market research, then narrowing down to competitor analysis using legitimate tools and publicly available information. Any strategy that feels ethically questionable or relies on circumventing platform rules should be immediately discarded. The focus should always be on understanding the market and competitors to improve one's own offering, not to unfairly disadvantage or misrepresent competitors. Question 17. Compliance review shows that a company is experiencing a significant increase in leads generated through Google Ads campaigns. However, the sales team is reporting a low conversion rate and a high volume of unqualified prospects. The marketing department is pushing for more aggressive ad targeting and keyword bidding to capture a larger audience, while the sales department is concerned about the quality of leads and the efficiency of their follow-up processes. The company is also considering integrating its CRM with Google Ads data to better track lead source and performance. Which of the following approaches best addresses the current challenges while ensuring compliance with Google Ads policies and ethical sales practices? Option A. Mandate that the sales team manually attribute all leads to specific Google Ads campaigns without CRM integration, and rely on anecdotal feedback from the sales team to adjust Google Ads strategies. Option B. Focus solely on optimizing landing page design for immediate conversion, using high-pressure sales tactics to convert leads quickly, and disregard detailed analysis of Google Ads performance data beyond basic click-through rates. Option C. Increase ad spend and broaden keyword targeting aggressively to capture a wider net of potential leads, assuming that a larger volume will eventually yield more conversions, and instruct the sales team to follow up with all leads immediately regardless of initial engagement. Option D. Implement a lead qualification framework based on Google Ads performance metrics and user engagement signals. Integrate this data into the CRM for sales team visibility, and provide comprehensive training to the sales team on interpreting Google Ads data and ethical lead handling. The correct answer is D. Implement a lead qualification framework based on Google Ads performance metrics and user engagement signals. Integrate this data into the CRM for sales team visibility, and provide comprehensive training to the sales team on interpreting Google Ads data and ethical lead handling. Explanation. This scenario is professionally challenging because it requires balancing aggressive sales targets with ethical lead generation and data handling practices, all within the specific regulatory framework of Google Ads and its associated sales integration. The core challenge lies in ensuring that the pursuit of leads through Google Ads and subsequent sales activities does not violate user privacy, advertising standards, or data protection laws. Careful judgment is required to interpret and apply these regulations to dynamic sales processes. The correct approach involves a holistic integration of Google Ads data with CRM systems, focusing on lead qualification based on genuine engagement and performance metrics, and ensuring the sales team is trained on both the technical aspects of Google Ads and the ethical considerations of lead handling. This approach is right because it aligns with the principles of responsible advertising and data privacy, which are implicitly and explicitly governed by Google's policies and broader data protection regulations. By qualifying leads based on performance and ensuring proper CRM integration, businesses can demonstrate a commitment to respecting user intent and data, thereby building trust and avoiding potential regulatory scrutiny. This also ensures that sales efforts are directed towards genuinely interested prospects, improving efficiency and compliance. An incorrect approach that focuses solely on maximizing lead volume from Google Ads without considering lead quality or user consent would be ethically and regulatorily unsound. This could lead to the generation of low-quality leads, wasted sales efforts, and potential violations of data privacy regulations if user data is collected or used improperly. Another incorrect approach that neglects CRM integration and sales team training on Google Ads data would result in a disconnect between marketing efforts and sales outcomes. This can lead to misinterpretation of campaign performance, inefficient lead follow-up, and a failure to leverage Google Ads insights for sales cycle optimization. Without proper training, the sales team might not understand the nuances of Google Ads data, leading to incorrect assumptions about lead quality or campaign effectiveness, and potentially engaging in misleading sales tactics. Finally, an approach that prioritizes immediate sales conversions over ethical lead qualification and transparent data usage would be problematic. This could involve making unsubstantiated claims in ad copy or on landing pages, or pressuring leads who have not shown sufficient interest, thereby violating advertising standards and potentially data protection principles. The professional decision-making process for similar situations should involve a thorough understanding of Google Ads policies, relevant data protection laws, and ethical marketing principles. It requires a proactive approach to training the sales team, implementing robust data management practices, and continuously monitoring campaign performance and lead quality to ensure alignment with both business objectives and regulatory requirements. Question 18. The evaluation methodology shows that a client wants to launch a display campaign targeting young adults, 18-24, interested in fast fashion, using responsive display ads featuring trendy clothing. The client is eager to maximize reach and conversions quickly. What is the most prudent approach to ensure brand safety and compliance with Google Ads policies? Option A. Utilize similar audiences based on existing customer data and broad interest targeting, without a specific review of the ad creative suitability for all potential viewers. Option B. Focus solely on maximizing conversions by using a target CPA bidding strategy and broad interest targeting, assuming that users interested in fast fashion will naturally convert. Option C. Implement broad demographic targeting for 18-24-year-olds and interest targeting for fashion and shopping. Then rely on Google's automated systems to optimize placements and ad serving. Option D. Conduct a thorough review of Google Ads policies related to sensitive categories and ad content. Analyze the specific interests within fast fashion to avoid potential misinterpretations, and preemptively review potential placements or website categories where the ads might appear to ensure brand safety. The correct answer is C. Implement broad demographic targeting for 18-24-year-olds and interest targeting for fashion and shopping. Then rely on Google's automated systems to optimize placements and ad serving. Explanation. The evaluation methodology shows that a common challenge in display campaign management is balancing aggressive audience targeting with brand safety and regulatory compliance. Advertisers must navigate a complex landscape of user privacy expectations and platform policies to ensure their ads are seen by the right people without causing offense or violating guidelines. This scenario is professionally challenging because it requires a nuanced understanding of audience segmentation, ad creative, and the potential for unintended consequences when targeting specific demographics or interests. Careful judgment is required to avoid alienating potential customers or triggering ad disapprovals. Correct approach involves a thorough risk assessment of the proposed targeting and creative strategy. This means understanding the specific demographics and interests being targeted, the content of the responsive display ads, and the potential for the ads to appear alongside inappropriate content. It requires consulting Google Ads policies on sensitive categories, ad content, and targeting, ensuring that the chosen audience segments are not being exploited or misrepresented, and that the ad creative adheres to best practices for brand safety. This approach is correct because it prioritizes compliance with Google Ads policies and ethical advertising standards, which are paramount for long-term campaign success and brand reputation. It proactively mitigates risks associated with brand safety, user privacy, and potential policy violations. An incorrect approach would be to proceed with the targeting and creative strategy without a comprehensive review, assuming that simply using responsive display ads and targeting broad interests is sufficient. This fails to account for the potential for ads to be served on sensitive websites or alongside harmful content, which can damage brand reputation and lead to policy violations. Another incorrect approach would be to focus solely on maximizing reach through broad demographic targeting, without considering the appropriateness of the ad creative for those segments, potentially leading to ad disapprovals or negative user reactions. A third incorrect approach would be to ignore the implications of targeting specific interest groups that might be considered sensitive, without ensuring the ad creative is respectful and avoids any form of stereotyping or misrepresentation. These approaches are professionally unacceptable because they demonstrate a lack of due diligence and a disregard for the ethical and regulatory responsibilities inherent in digital advertising. Professionals should adopt a decision-making framework that begins with a clear understanding of the campaign objectives and target audience. This should be followed by a detailed review of the proposed targeting methods, ad creative, and placement strategies against Google Ads policies and brand safety guidelines. Risk assessment should be an integral part of this process, identifying potential pitfalls, and developing mitigation strategies. Continuous monitoring and optimization are also crucial, allowing for adjustments based on campaign performance and any emerging issues. Question 19. The monitoring system demonstrates that a new client search campaign, recently launched with an awareness objective, is generating a high volume of impressions and clicks, but a negligible number of actual sales. The client is eager to see a significant increase in revenue. Which of the following actions should be the immediate priority to address this situation and align the campaign with the client's revenue goals? Option A. Adjust the campaign objective to conversions and ensure conversion tracking is accurately implemented and reporting sales as the primary conversion action. Option B. Focus on refining ad creative and keyword targeting to improve click-through rates, as this is the primary driver of awareness. Option C. Implement a remarketing strategy to target users who have previously visited the website but did not convert. Option D. Increase the daily budget significantly to capture more impressions and clicks, assuming higher volume will eventually lead to more sales. The correct answer is A. Adjust the campaign objective to conversions and ensure conversion tracking is accurately implemented and reporting sales as the primary conversion action. Explanation. This scenario is professionally challenging because it requires balancing the client's immediate desire for rapid sales growth with the long-term sustainability and ethical implications of their advertising strategy. Misinterpreting campaign objectives or misconfiguring conversion tracking can lead to wasted ad spend, inaccurate performance data, and potentially misleading reporting to the client, which could have regulatory implications if it constitutes misrepresentation. The correct approach involves a thorough understanding of the client's business goals and aligning them with the most appropriate Google Ads campaign type and objective. Specifically, focusing on a conversion objective for a new client with limited historical data and ensuring accurate conversion tracking setup is crucial. This aligns with the principle of responsible advertising, which emphasizes delivering genuine value and measurable results. Regulatory frameworks, while not explicitly detailed here, generally promote transparency and accuracy in advertising claims and performance reporting. Setting up conversion tracking correctly ensures that the campaign is optimized towards actions that directly contribute to the client's business success, thereby maximizing return on investment and adhering to ethical advertising practices. An incorrect approach would be to prioritize a broad awareness objective without a clear strategy for how that awareness will translate into tangible business outcomes. This could lead to inefficient spending and a failure to meet the client's underlying need for sales. Another incorrect approach is to proceed with campaign optimization without verifying the accuracy of conversion tracking. This is a significant ethical and professional failure, as it means optimizing based on potentially flawed data, which can lead to misinformed decisions and ultimately harm the client's business. Furthermore, it could be seen as a failure to exercise due diligence, potentially violating professional standards that require accurate data management and reporting. Professionals should approach such situations by first conducting a comprehensive discovery phase to understand the client's specific business objectives, target audience, and current marketing landscape. This should be followed by a strategic recommendation of campaign types and objectives that are best suited to achieve those goals, with a clear explanation of the rationale. Crucially, before any optimization begins, the accuracy and completeness of conversion tracking must be rigorously verified. This systematic approach ensures that advertising efforts are aligned with business outcomes, ethically sound, and compliant with general principles of responsible advertising. Question 20. Investigation of a sales team's proposal to launch a new Google Ads campaign promoting a recently developed feature, where the team is eager to highlight its revolutionary impact and unprecedented efficiency gains based on anecdotal feedback and initial internal testing, but lacks comprehensive, independently validated data to fully substantiate these strong claims. What is the most responsible and compliant approach to proceed with the campaign development? Option A. Develop ad copy and landing page content that accurately reflects the current understanding of the feature's benefits, using cautious language and clearly stating that performance metrics are based on preliminary findings, while initiating a formal process to gather and validate comprehensive performance data for future campaign iterations. Option B. Focus the campaign solely on broad, non-specific benefits that are universally true for most products, avoiding any mention of the new feature's specific advantages until extensive, long-term performance data is available, even if this means significantly underselling the feature's potential. Option C. Base the ad copy and landing page content on the claims made by key competitors for their similar features, assuming that if competitors are making these claims, they are likely substantiated and acceptable for advertising purposes. Option D. Immediately create aggressive ad copy and landing page content mirroring the sales team's enthusiastic descriptions, assuming that the positive anecdotal feedback is sufficient to represent the feature's capabilities, and that Google Ads will approve the campaign based on general benefit claims. The correct answer is A. Develop ad copy and landing page content that accurately reflects the current understanding of the feature's benefits, using cautious language and clearly stating that performance metrics are based on preliminary findings, while initiating a formal process to gather and validate comprehensive performance data for future campaign iterations. Explanation. This scenario presents a professional challenge because it requires balancing aggressive sales targets with ethical considerations and adherence to advertising standards. The core difficulty lies in ensuring that promotional claims, even when based on preliminary data, are not misleading or unsubstantiated, which is a key tenet of responsible advertising and consumer protection. The need to generate leads and drive sales must be tempered by the obligation to provide accurate information. The correct approach involves a thorough and documented internal review process before launching any new campaign. This ensures that all claims are verifiable and align with the company's understanding of its product's capabilities and market position. Specifically, it requires cross-referencing proposed claims with internal performance data, market research, and any existing product documentation. This proactive verification is crucial for maintaining credibility with potential clients and avoiding regulatory scrutiny. In the context of Google Ads, this means ensuring that ad copy and landing page content are truthful and not deceptive, as per Google's advertising policies, which are designed to protect users and maintain a healthy advertising ecosystem. An incorrect approach would be to proceed with the campaign based solely on the sales team's enthusiasm and a general understanding of the product's benefits without rigorous verification. This risks making unsubstantiated claims, which can lead to a high bounce rate, poor conversion quality, and potential violations of advertising standards. Google Ads policies, for instance, prohibit deceptive practices and require advertisers to be transparent about their offerings. Launching a campaign with unverified claims could result in ad disapprovals, account suspension, and damage to the company's reputation. Another incorrect approach is to rely on competitor claims as a benchmark for making similar assertions. While competitive analysis is important for strategy, directly mirroring competitor claims without independent verification is ethically questionable and legally risky. Competitors may themselves be making unsubstantiated claims, and basing one's own advertising on such a foundation does not absolve the advertiser of responsibility for accuracy. This can lead to a race to the bottom in terms of advertising integrity. The professional decision-making process should involve a structured approach to campaign development. This includes 1. Defining clear campaign objectives, 2. Conducting thorough market and competitive analysis, 3. Developing draft ad copy and landing page content, 4. Implementing a rigorous internal review process for all claims, involving relevant departments e.g., product, legal, marketing, 5. Testing and iterating based on performance data, while always ensuring claims remain accurate and verifiable. This systematic process mitigates risks and promotes ethical and effective advertising.